Body Count is one of those bands that gets better with age, and hear me out on this. I was a big fan of the first album. I bought the CD right after it was released. My original CD actually had Cop Killer on it, and I know the subsequent releases of that CD didn't have it because he was pressured to take it off, and it's still a great album, although some of the lyrics didn't age well for me. Then 2 years later, they released Born Dead. I bought that one when it came out, and I actually didn't like that album, so I kind of lost interest in the band, and I know they released a few more albums, which were okay. I haven't really listened to them that much. I got back into the band when they released Manslaughter in 2014. I thought that was a very fun album because it seems to have been made with a lot of anger over what they had to go through over the years, and it had a really cool version of Institutionalized from Suicidal Tendencies, which is one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite songs from back in the day. Then in 2017, they released Bloodlust, and that's an awesome album. Might even be my favorite album of theirs. It has lots of collaborations. It's very reflective of what was going on at the time. They released Carnivore in 20, and that's another good album. I think it often gets overlooked because it was released right before the pandemic, and it's another great album with lots of great collaborations. It even has people you would never expect to work with Body Count, such as Amy Lee, amongst others. Now it's 4 years later, we get Merciless, and they've been talking about this for a long time. It was delayed many times, but it finally came out, and I think it's still another strong addition in their discography and another good album, which completes a pretty solid 4-album run. Merciless also has lots of guests on it, and I think he's delving into other genres of metal because we have a song with Corpsegrinder from Cannibal Corpse, another one with Joe Bad from Fit for an Autopsy, another one with Howard Jones, who used to be in Killswitch Engage, and then there's a Pink Floyd cover, which seems kind of out there, but he makes it work. And there's also a collaboration with Max Cavalera, which I believe is his second collaboration with Max, because I remember him being on the Bloodlust album. I think the reason why his later albums are really good is because so many musicians want to work with Ice-T. I don't know if it's because he was in Law and Order and he's more famous now. I noticed that his first few albums didn't really have guests in them, and then I think the first one with Jamie Josta being on Manslaughter. But ever since Bloodlust, he's had some big names on albums, and I think that really works for the band. So let's talk more about this. The opening track is a skit called Interrogation Interlude, which has Ice-T talking to someone, and you can imagine someone tied to a chair being tortured with Ice-T playing both parts, and this is here to set the stage for the tone of the album. This goes into Merciless. It's a slow and heavy song with Ernie C playing some deep string bends and Ice-T rapping about being merciless. It seems to be a continuation of the opening skit because it sounds like he's singing directly into this metaphorical person who is tied to the chair. It also has some of those Slayer-style guitar riffs in the second half of the song, and that's the part where the captive person is being tortured in the scenario, and then Ernie C lets loose with one of his melodic guitar solos. The next song is The Purge, and this features Corpsegrinder from Cannibal Corpse. The song's about the movie series The Purge. It's Body Count going into some death metal territory as they speed up the pace, but they also play some of their classic hardcore-inspired guitar riffs. Corpsegrinder was a good choice for the song. His voice is very recognizable, and he does vocals on the second verse, and the song makes it sound like a nice blend of hardcore and death metal. After this is Psychopath featuring Joe Bad from Fit for an Autopsy. This one sounds like Slayer song, as Body Count have always said that Slayer were one of their biggest influences. This one sounds more like some old school thrash, and the song appears to be more about a psychopath that's on a killing spree. Joe Bad does the vocals on the second verse and even works his name, the band name, Fit for an Autopsy, into the lyrics. After this is a song called Fuck What You Heard. This one sounds like an old school hip hop song with Ice-T rapping, and the band plays along with him. The song is about the political climate, where they talk about how people are divided, how the mass media divides us into either left or right. Ice-T talks about how the two-party system doesn't make any sense, and he compares the parties to being in rival gangs. The song also has some heavy deathcore style guitar riffs. I also noticed the band expanding into different musical territories. Next is Live Forever featuring Howard Jones. It's a heavy thrash metal song. It's a very angry song with some simple lyrics. It has melodic vocals in the chorus, and they continue with more of those Slayer-inspired guitar riffs. Ice-T is talking about how he will never stop making music, even if they tried to stop him or shut him up. And the song also has some harsh vocals by Howard Jones in the second verse of the song, or the second half. Next is Do or Die. This one sounds like one of their older songs that's a mix of metal and rap, and it's talking about violence in society in general. The song has some clips in the middle of it, and I thought it was a pretty cool song. It's more of a throwback to their classic sound. The song also addresses violence or gun violence, and how you can be at a supermarket with your kid and never know when somebody's going to take out a gun and start shooting. I like one of the lines when Ice-T says, "I'm not pro-gun, I'm pro-staying alive," which is why he says that when he goes out, he's going to be armed so he can defend himself. Next is the Pink Floyd cover, Comfortably Numb. I thought it was an interesting collaboration because they got David Gilmour to play in the song, and it's not a cover in its true form. Ice-T wrote the lyrics to reflect more the current state of the world, but he chose Pink Floyd's The Wall because of the overall themes of that album, and he took this old song and he updated it. It was the first single. I actually didn't like it when it came out, but I think it's a pretty cool song, and I've listened to it a few times. I think he really makes it work. The song continues the general theme on the album about how the world has become very violent. Next is Lying Motherfucker, and this is a hardcore song with Ice-T describing a person who is a liar, and the song is filled with some heavy pummeling guitar riffs. It's just a very strong song on the album. I like the line where he says, "I know you're lying because your mouth is moving." I'm not sure if it's about a certain person. It probably is. So if you know, let us know in the comments. Next is Drug Lords featuring Max Cavalera. It's body count going back to their fast, angry, and aggressive hardcore roots. Max Cavalera fits perfectly on the song, and it's even the first few lines of the song are in Portuguese. So another great song, and I like everything that Max does. The penultimate song is World War. This one starts with a sound clip with a news report that sets up the theme, which is a world war breaking out. And another really good song. I like the thick bass guitar sound on the song, and then the lyrics has Ice-T listing all the potential countries the United States could go to war with. I really like the breakdown towards the end of the song. The last song is called Mike Contract. It's another one of those old school rap metal songs, which sounds like something that could have been or recorded back in the 90s, but with lyrics that are more reflective of current events. On this song, Ice-T does some rapping, and in my opinion, he has better flow than Mike Shinoda. In conclusion, it's another solid album by body count. They've had a really good run of albums in the past 10 years. I'm going to give this one another high score of a 9 out of 10. I really like it. I think it's something I can go back to and listen to on a repeated basis. So let me know what you think of the album. What are your thoughts on body count in general? Before I go, I just want to let you know that I have a channel membership. So I'm only putting at one tier, $2.99 a month, and you can request videos that you want me to make, and you also get to see videos before they are released. So if you want to check that out, you can join as a member and help support the channel. Check out this review I did of their first album when it celebrated an anniversary. It's going to be like right next to my head somewhere. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. Please give this video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.